The only new rock alternative 89X, it is J Hud, lead singer of Avenged Sevenfold, M Shadows, on the phone with us right now.
Yo.
Shadows, what's going on, dude? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
Ready to get this Avenged machine back up and running again, huh?
I guess so.
Kind of like how you guys really take your time with these albums, unlike a lot of artists nowadays. Some may agree or disagree, but I feel like that allows you more time to put it together and make sure it's well crafted and well rounded and it sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of it is just recharging the batteries. I mean, I don't get how people come right off the road and they're able to just put something out. I think it, in my experience, I've gotten off the road and tried to write songs and they're just dull. They're not inspired, and a lot of it's just playing the stuff you've been playing on the road. You know, it's like a lot of the same stuff, and it doesn't allow you time to really, have like an outside perspective on everything that's happened and where you want to go with the next one. So I think that's the most important thing. And then obviously taking your time writing songs. That's the number one thing. There's press, photo shoots, videos. None of it matters if the songs suck. There has to be a stamp of approval by 5 guys before something makes it on the record. And I feel like, and we're all very much on the same page before we even start writing. So it's very much like one of those things where we're friends first. So we keep that the main focus of our band. And if we can, start writing as friends and knowing that no one's saying anything personal and there's no egos involved, then it's actually pretty easy for us to, I'm not saying songwriting's easy, just it's easy for us to get along and actually, get going and get on the road and put a record together.
We have M Shadows, the lead singer from Avenged Sevenfold, on the phone with us right now. And kind of take me back to the beginning with Hail to the King. How'd this all come about and what's the meaning behind the title?
Well, we took a year off and we did a song for Black Ops, which was just a fun thing we threw together. And we just basically wanted to recharge the batteries, stay at home, hang out. And when we got that itch, we decided, hey, in September, it's time to write a record, but what do we want to do? And I've been talking a lot to Gates about it, and it was one of those things where we decided, you know what? We want to get a better sounding recording. We want to make a bigger sound. And what do you have to do that? So we had to kind of strip things down and simplify. And we started studying songwriting from classical composers to, some of our favorite bands, meaning Zeppelin and Sabbath and Pantera and all the bands that, bands that Pantera was influenced by, like an AC/DC and things like that. So we started just really kind of looking at songs and started putting our own things together and what worked and what we thought worked. And we decided to go with the more simplistic, bigger approach to our songwriting. And we said, well, if we're going to go with this, we can't do 3 or 4 songs and then kind of go back to our old ways. Like, we got to stick this out all the way through and make sure there's no filler on this record. This thing just slams from front to back. And so that was the challenge of the record. But we did it and we stuck with it. And then when we got in the studio, we just went out and executed production-wise. That's
awesome. You mentioned some of the artists that inspired you this time around. Was there any life situations that used as inspiration going into this album?
I used Nightmare as being a huge emotional weight off of us, and I wanted to get back to doing what I think metal bands that I enjoy do, which is writing not only about your own life, but in a fantasy type of setting. So the songs are kind of over the top. It's kind of the same way I look at what Life of Pi, that movie is. It's a real life story, but you kind of turn it to fucking 15. And so we wanted to do that with the writing on this record. There's a lot of emotional things in there kind of disguised by fantasy, which is what I love about a lot of metal bands.
Well, I'll tell you what, Shadows, we're going to crank up the new single right now, Hail to the King, the title track, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks, brother. Can't wait, man.